Well, welcome back, kids, for another Bad Guys of the Bible. We are on bad guy number 4. Actually, today's actually bad guy and girl of the Bible. That's right. We've got 2 bad guys to talk about today. But first, let's talk a little bit about another bad guy that you may know. I don't know if there's any Star Wars fans here. And look, I didn't watch Star Wars until just a couple of years ago. So if you've watched all the Star Wars, you watched them way before I did in my life. Star Wars is pretty good. It is pretty good. But if you have watched it or if you haven't, I'm going to give you a little rundown. Maybe you know this guy named Darth Vader. Okay, Darth Vader, he's scary. He was mean. He was evil. He's one of the worst bad guys of all time, right? Darth Vader in the Star Wars movies. But here's the thing. If you've watched the Star Wars movies, you know that Darth Vader wasn't always bad. Darth Vader started out as Anakin Skywalker, right? And he was getting trained up by Obi-Wan Kenobi. And he was working under him. He was going to be a good guy. He was going to have, the good force. And he was going to be doing a lot of good stuff for the world. But Anakin, he got this friend named Palpatine. And Palpatine, he was the president of the Galactic Senate, right? And he was also known as Darth Sidious. Okay, so we got some sounds pretty bad, right? So he was his friend, and from an early age, Palpatine, he saw potential in Anakin Skywalker to be this force for evil. Okay? So very slowly in Anakin's life, he wanted to put in his mind, he wanted to change the good intentions that he felt into things for the bad side. So you see, it was Palpatine who offered Anakin a choice between good or evil. And Palpatine lied and he manipulated and he caused one of the galaxy's most promising heroes to turn evil. And Anakin became Darth Vader. And then Palpatine, he revealed himself to be Darth Sidious, and together they destroyed the Jedi. They brought the galaxy to its knees. You see, Anakin became a bad guy because of an influence in his life. Friends, they have a lot of influence on us. A lot of influence. Our friends that we're with all the time, it can be a good influence. It can be a bad influence. But you see, the closer that friend is, the more influence they have on our life. And that's the case with today's bad guys. We've got 2 today. We've got Ahab and Jezebel. So you see, Ahab was a king. And at the time that Ahab became king, the Israelites were split into 2 kingdoms. They were Israel and Judah, right? So Ahab was king of the larger kingdom, and it was a line of just terrible kings, wicked kings, bad kings. But Ahab was the worst yet. He thought that sin was just and he had no respect for God. But then Ahab, he chose Jezebel to be his wife. And Jezebel was not an Israelite. She was the daughter of a wicked, wicked king as well. And their people, they worshiped false idols. And they did a lot of really, really bad things. Jezebel didn't turn Ahab into a wicked king, but she made him even more wicked through their relationship. Now, there's a lot of stories in the Old Testament about Ahab and Jezebel and how wicked they were. Ahab and the prophets, we've talked about the story of Elijah. When they came in contact with Elijah and Elijah and them were against each other about who was the one true God. And of course, Elijah showed who was the one true God. But Ahab was just wicked. And even though God had proved who he was and how much more powerful he was and how he was the one true God, Ahab stayed wicked. And Jezebel didn't help. So what happened in the story that we're going to read today? We're going to be in 1 Kings chapter 21. Y'all say that. 1 Kings chapter 21. So here's what's going on. Okay? Ahab, he wanted some land that belonged to this other guy named Naboth. Okay? This land was really close to him, and he thought maybe this land would be really good for what he needed to do. And it was close to the kingdom, so this would be good. And he offered a really good price for it. He offered to pay for it. Okay? So he didn't just try to just take it away from him. He offered a fair price. Okay? But Naboth, he told him, he said, "The Lord has forbid that I should give you the inheritance that was passed down to me from my ancestors." So Ahab was mad. Here it is, God getting in his way again from doing what he wanted to do. And so Ahab was so mad, he didn't eat. He wouldn't even eat. And so his wife comes. Jezebel comes and says, "What's the matter? What has got you so mad that you're not even going to eat?" And so Ahab said, "Well, I asked Naboth to sell me his land, and he told me that the Lord wouldn't do it. He refused to give me that land, even though I was going to buy it." And so let's read from 1 Kings chapter 21 about what Jezebel had to say about that. Here we go. It says, "Are you the king of Israel or not?" Jezebel demanded. "Get up and eat something, and don't worry about it. I'll get you Naboth's vineyard." So she wrote letters in Ahab's name, sealed them with his seal, and sent them to the elders and other leaders of the town where Naboth lived. In her letters, she commanded, "Call the citizens together for a time of fasting, and give Naboth a place of honor. And then seat 2 scoundrels across from him, who will accuse him of cursing God and the king. Then take him out and stone him to death." So the elders and other town leaders followed the instructions Jezebel had written in the letters. So you see, Ahab is mad. Naboth wouldn't sell him the vineyard. And then Jezebel says, "Are you the king? Aren't you the king? Can't you do whatever you want? Just look, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it." So Jezebel steps in. She didn't see Naboth's answer as an obstacle. No, she saw it as an opportunity to help this wicked king do something really wicked. And so she wrote letters as if she were King Ahab, and she sent them off. And she told them, "Y'all have a feast. I want you to fast. I want you to get together for worship. After that fast is over, I want you to have a feast. I want you to get together, put Naboth in a place of honor. And then I want 2 liars to go sit with him. And I want them to lie about him and say that he's dishonoring the king and dishonoring God. And then they're going to stone him. They're going to kill him because he dishonored the king and dishonored God." And that's exactly what those leaders did. Because it was King Ahab that was sending these letters, they had to do it. And they did. They got together. They put Naboth there. The 2 liars, they lied about him. And he was stoned. And so now his land was unoccupied. And so Jezebel went and told him, "I got your land, go take it." And he did. He didn't worry about the process. King Ahab didn't worry about how it happened. He just was happy that he got the land that he wanted. And that is how wicked of a team King Ahab and Jezebel were. So you see, bad friends lead you to make bad decisions. They really do. A bad friend, they might tell you to hurt somebody physically. They might tell you to gossip about others. Just like Jezebel made a wicked king even worse, we will become just as bad as those friends and the decisions they're making if we allow it to happen. And that's not what God wants for us. That is not what God wants for us. One of the worst things that we can do is follow the bad examples that those bad friends can bring to our lives. And God doesn't want those things for us. He wants us to be good examples for people around us so that they can one day know the love of God through the way that we treat them. That we don't follow those bad decisions and we don't follow those bad friends and we don't do all those things that they want us to do. No, we do good things. We do what God wants us to do. We try our best to be like Jesus for the people around us. You see, if King Ahab had married someone who loved God, maybe, just maybe, he would have seen the error in his ways. And maybe, just maybe, he would have changed who he was, and he could have changed from being a wicked king. So we've got to make choices every day about the people that we surround ourselves with. God wants us to love others. He wants us to be a friend to all people. And He wants us to share His love. That's your challenge. Sometimes it's really hard to make those choices of who are your friends and who's not your friends. But God cares about all of them, no matter how good or bad they are. So we've got to do our best, being who we can be, to be a good example, to show the love of God. It's a hard challenge, but I know you can do it because you are awesome. We've got some really awesome kids in this church, really awesome kids in this community that can make a difference and change the world, and that is you. You can do it. I know you can. I'll be praying for you to be able to do it. So, let's run with it. Bad guys, or bad guy and bad girl of the Bible, number 4 is over. There's just 2 more. 2 more in the Bad Guys of the Bible series for this summer, and then we'll start something brand new. I've got a few announcements for you right after this video, so stick around and listen to those. And look, I hope I see you real soon, if I hadn't seen you already. I love y'all. And until then, we'll see you next time. Welcome back, kids! I am excited to announce that the kids are back in church. That's right, during our Sunday services, Kids Church is back in session out in the gym. Now this is for kindergarten through 5th grade. So if you were in kindergarten through 5th grade last school year, then you have Kids Church. We're not going to promote age groups just yet. We'll do that at the end of the summer. But right now, we get to have so much fun together, worshiping God, having fun, reading His Word, and we get to do it all together in the gym on Sunday mornings at 10:30. So when you get there, just make sure you follow all the guidelines that we have. It won't be hard to do, and we will be able to just have as much fun as possible. Pre-kids, we'll be starting back up in just a couple of weeks on June the 28th. So we're going to give ourselves a little bit of time before they get started. But y'all, it is so exciting to finally get back together. So I can't wait to see y'all.